later on the second part of this broadcast on her say. But first, as it is our custom right here, let's take a look at the stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, Advocate Dunstan Omari has claimed that the conviction of Acting Inspector General Gilbert Masengeli was politically motivated and holds no real significance.
Ni kaimu wa mkuu wa Inspector General, mkuu wa kitengo cha Administration Police.
President William Ruto has stated that unlicensed recruitment agents and agencies will be barred from participating in the new jobs program with the German government.
This partnership is to twin and to provide mechanisms for ensuring that qualifications from institutions in Kenya mirror qualifications in institutions in Germany, so that there is ease of transfer of skills and labor into the job market.
And it's been 2 years since President William Ruto's inauguration. Today, we focus on how the political landscape in the country has changed since the Kwanza government took power.
For the 2 years of this government, the Odida government, have not been very good. One, because of internal fighting. It's intense internal fighting. So they are not delivering.
All right, welcome once again to this live broadcast. Remember to send in your feedback at TV47 News on X, TV47KE on Facebook, and TV47 Kenya on YouTube. My name is Odida. Sign language interpreter tonight is Rhoda Nyamai. Let's get started. Now, the rift in the Mount Kenya region continues to deepen as leaders remain divided on who to back as the preferred kingpin ahead of the 2027 elections. This comes despite Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua asserting that there is no pushover and will do everything in his power to defend the region's interests. Meanwhile, a faction of elders from Mount Kenya East has endorsed Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki as their chosen leader. Take a look.
The battle over who should be the next political kingpin in Mount Kenya region ahead of the 2027 elections is intensifying, posing a potential disruption to the political ambitions of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Just a week after 15 elected leaders from Mount Kenya East endorsed Interior CS Kithure Kindiki as their preferred regional leader, 48 more leaders from the western part of the region followed suit. And now, hundreds of elders from Embu, Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties in Mount Kenya East have also thrown their support behind CS Kindiki as the region's spokesperson. Speaking in Embu town on Saturday, the elders have said that Kindiki's national stature would benefit the region's development.
The president and his government, we believe his national stature will help foster good relationship with our regions. We urge all our leaders to work towards the unity and the harmony of all Kenyans, regardless of ethnic, religious, or political backgrounds.
Meanwhile, on the western side of Mount Kenya, a faction of politicians rallied to defend Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, urging leaders from Mount Kenya East to stop undermining him and instead focus on delivering Kenya Kwanza's promises. Maragwa MP Mary Wamaua criticizing the 48 MPs for allegedly disrespecting Gachagua and creating divisions between him and President William Ruto.
Kwa nini watu wa mlima wanaumia? Wewe ukiwa kiongozi wa wengi na ukiwa kuwa umetoka mlima, unakusanya wajumbe wa mlima, badala ya muangalie watu wa mlima wanaumia kwa nini. Wewe ni maneno ya kwenda kuwapeleka walale kwa hoteli kubwa kubwa, alafu asubuhi mnatokelezea hapo na tumbo zenu kubwa, ndio muonyeshe wananchi venye mumeshiba, mukisema hamutaki Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua alichaguliwa na wananchi.
On Friday, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua expressed his discontent with some MPs for endorsing CS Kithure Kindiki as Mount Kenya's preferred leader. Gachagua family stating that is no pushover and is ready to face his opponents head-on. Local leaders came to Gachagua's defense, saying he has not been declared unfit for his position, nor has he expressed any desire to step down.
Na Deputy President hakuambia hajachoka na kazi. Na kama angekuwa anachoka na kazi angekuja atuambie hii kazi imenishinda, tafuteni mtu mwingine. Kwa hivyo wacheni kumsemea.
Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kirobi, for that report. Now, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has called for an end to abductions in the country. This coming as the Kenya Kwanza government has been under scrutiny regarding its action to address human rights violations. This as human rights groups have documented over 128 extrajudicial killings and 351 cases of torture since Ruto's inauguration, highlighting a troubling trend of violence against dissenters. Take a look.
Between January 2022 and June 2023, KNHCR recorded 22 cases of extrajudicial killings and 9 cases of enforced disappearance, all allegedly committed by security agencies. This a stark difference from President William Ruto's repeated promise of ending the vice.
There was a container here at the Nairobi area where people were being slaughtered in a police station. How did we end up there? You know, what kind of rogue, you know, institution? And that is why I fired that Kinoti man. You know, because I mean it's not right.
Fast forward to September 2024, and families of Bobby Njagi, Aslam Longton and Jamil Longton are yet to reconnect with them after their abduction in Kitengela town.
Inspector General of Police, the judge was very generous with you. You should actually should have been given custodial sentence so that people will know you have to abide by the rule of law in this country. Because he has to produce 3 people from Kitengela whose families are even in hiding.
And from the anti-finance bill protests, Human Rights Group recorded 32 abductions, 627 arrests, 361 people injured, and 24 deaths. Police coming under fire for excessive use of force. Reports indicating that police shot unarmed protesters, with some individuals being shot at multiple times.
It's high time we start holding our police officers accountable. Those who are found culpable should not be protected.
William Ruto's administration has been criticized for failing to protect the right to peaceful assembly and freedom of expression, particularly during the 2024 protests.
Who are these who are killing our youths? Who gave the orders to shoot live bullets at youths who were just armed with bottles?
Gen Zs, when they were doing their demonstration in the previous times, there wasn't any looting, there wasn't any killings, but some people have taken over and ingrained themselves in the demonstration to propagate their own selfish interest, who we must be able to smoke them.
The overwhelming police presence at every nook and crevice of Nairobi CBD did not go unnoticed. In the latter days, police checks at every entry point of the CBD, all in a bid to deny protesters from congregating at the CBD, were the order of the day.
We continue in this tangent that we see weaponization of police agencies. Then the people of Kenya will not be able to enjoy their human rights. They'll not be able to exercise their rights to participate public, to raise their voices, to raise their concerns as a people of Kenya.
The events would unfold. International pressure would also pile. At one instance, the U.S. government expressed concern over human rights violations in Kenya, urging the Ruto administration to take concrete action to protect the rights of citizens. To its credit the Kenya Kwanza administration took some action in its formative days, such as disbanding the SSU, a police unit linked to numerous extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearance. This move was presented as a step towards accountability and reform within the police force. This as several public commitments to uphold human rights have been made and continue to be made.
That they have no business carrying out political order. Let them go and read the Constitution and read the law. Sat down with the command of the police from the IG downwards. And we have agreed that they will operate within the law.
However, the effectiveness and sincerity of these measures remain in question. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Still on the same breath, tonight President William Ruto marks his 2 years in office in the backdrop of political turmoil that rocked his administration, starting off with the Gen Z protest, forcing him to withdraw the finance bill and dissolve his cabinet. Ruto, who rose to power in the backdrop of high optimism from Kenyans, has seen his popularity plummet due to public discontent over corruption, the economy, his government's performance and unfulfilled promises, despite mixed reactions on his performance. Apollo Kamau with that report.
Since taking office on September 13, 2022, in the backdrop of a hustler nation euphoria, beaming with hope amid a myriad of promises, 2 years on, President Ruto's stay in power has been turbulent as the president faces a discontent populace still tired of corruption in government, wastage, and an economy that is not creating enough jobs for millions of the youth, while internal fighting in his administration threatens to scuttle his first term in office.
The 2 years of this government, the Odida government, have not been very good. One, because of internal fighting. It's intense internal fighting. So they are not delivering. And then the appearance of excessive looting. The Auditor General's report are disheartening every year. And then you say, well, so the image has not been good. Can something be done about it? We hope. I mean, there's always hope. Something can be done. But at present, your question about 2 years has been a miserable, bad 2 years.
President Ruto, who faced 2 waves of protests, starting with Azimio protests in early 2023 over the high cost of living, that later switched to unprecedented Gen Z protests, leading to invasion of parliament over the punitive Finance Bill 2024 and the eventual dissolution of his cabinet to allow the formation of a broad-based government, sharing power with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, is still facing questions for losing touch with ordinary Kenyans.
We're in a space where the president is gallivanting across the country, from one end of the country to the other, from pillar to post and post to pillar again, talking about unity that can only be called the conspiracy of the elite, because unity is as good as the purpose for which people unite.
Nitawashtaki kwa baba.
According to analysts, despite the political alliance between Ruto and Odinga, internal fighting in Kenya Kwanza through their proxies is yet another political landmine the president will have to navigate to deliver to Kenyans already frustrated by his unfulfilled promises on infrastructure projects, corruption, and wastage in government, including his trips abroad.
Below average. And if there's any election, I think they know they are out. That's why they are trying to come up with divisive, diversionary tactics to see whether they can, out of desperation, to see whether they can gain some relevance. Out of 10, I think we'll give them 2.
He has an image problem. They need to work on that image thing. And maybe, if possible, get some better policy makers to help them. because they have some people who really have no clue as to what they're doing. Yet they are there. Like, serious investigation needs to be done. They are done anything. Who did it? Because it's a disaster for the country. And yet, there was rumors about KICC was gone. And you say, what are you doing?
President Ruto has, however, been quick to shed off the negative perception, especially on unfulfilled promises. The president, who traveled to Germany this week to sign an agreement on labor, talent and mobility that will allow Kenyans to secure jobs, has said Kenya's economy is growing at 5.2%, up from 4.8% in 2022, according to a report by the Africa Development Bank. The president's pet projects, among them the affordable fertilizer program, which was hit by a scandal over fake fertilizer in the market, has seen the price of fertilizer reduced to 2,500 shillings per bag from 6,000 shillings in 2022. In return, maize production has gone up from 61.7 million bags in 2022 to 85.7 million bags in 2023, with a price of 2 kg maize flour packet reducing from 170 shillings to 130 shillings in 2024. On employment, 160,000 jobs have been created through the affordable housing program, more than 110,000 units completed, with the stabilization of the Kenyan shilling against the dollar, another feather on the administration's cap. The Adani Holdings Limited takeover of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in a privately initiated proposal, however, has only served to become another political baggage to the president due to the opposition to the project by Kenyans. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Thank you, Apollo Kamau, for that comprehensive report. Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has said they will appeal the decision to imprison Masengeli for 6 months. Dunstan Omari has insisted that his client's absence from court was due to his involvement in critical security operations. Take a look.
In a new twist to the ongoing legal saga facing Acting Police Inspector General Gilbert Masengeli, his lawyer Dunstan Omari has stated that the Interior Ministry or its CS Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki does not have the authority to arrest him.
Iweze kuelekea katika mahakama ya Court of Appeal, tuweze kubishana na kuondoa zile ambazo ni zile orders zilizopeanwa pale. Kwanza ya kwamba kule kuambiwa ajiendeshe yeye mwenyewe na bodaboda kwenda katika jela, hakuna sheria kama hiyo.
Omari announcing plans to appeal the case, arguing that Masengeli's absence from court was due to his involvement in critical security operations.
Ule Kanja ambaye huenda akapata ile nafasi akapata sababu ambayo inamzuia.
The court, while issuing the judgment, suspended the sentence for 7 days, allowing Masengeli the opportunity to comply with the court's orders and potentially avoid imprisonment.
Amri ambayo si halali. Functors official.
As the situation unfolds, questions have been raised about the implications of Masengeli's conviction on his position as the Acting Inspector General of Police and the integrity of the National Police Service.
Masengeli huenda akaipata ile nafasi na kwa sababu anatoka.
The 6-month prison sentence ruling was delivered by High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi on Friday, following Masengeli's repeated failure to comply with court summons related to the disappearance of 3 people believed to have been abducted by police officers during protests in Kitengela on August 19th this year.
Pasi ile atazidi kufanya ile kazi sababu hajafungwa zaidi ya miezi 6. Na mwisho nimeelezea kwamba ule Masengeli amehakikishia Wakenya kwamba ile kikosi cha polisi taifa zima kiko imara kulinda usalama.
Court found that Masengeli had ignored 7 summons to explain the circumstances surrounding the abductions of activists Robert Njagi and brothers Jamil and Aslam Longton. Eric Munene, TV47.
Thank you, Munene, for that. Now, the World Health Organization, WHO, has announced the MVA-BN vaccine as the first vaccine against Mpox to be added to its pre-qualification list. This means that the vaccine will now be made available to the target populations at high risk of getting the Mpox virus. Elizabeth Atieno now reports.
The MVA-BN vaccine, manufactured by Bavarian Nordic, has been approved by the World Health Organization. This vaccine is expected to facilitate timely and increased access to this vital product in communities with urgent need to reduce transmission and help contain the outbreak. WHO's assessment for pre-qualification is based on information submitted by the manufacturer and review by the European Medicines Agency, which is the regulatory agency of record for this vaccine.
I have given the green light to Gavi and UNICEF to proceed with procurement of vaccines pending the EUL decision.
The MVA-BN vaccine can be administered in people over 18 years of age as a 2-dose injection given 4 weeks apart. The vaccine can be stored at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius for up to 8 weeks. Kenya seeks to procure 2 million doses later this year. Over 3.6 million doses of vaccines have been pledged for the Mpox response. This includes 620,000 doses of the MVA-BN vaccines pledged to the affected countries by the European Commission. Japan has pledged 3 million doses of the LC16 vaccine, which is the largest number of doses pledged so far.
We are moving towards securing almost 1 million doses out of the total we need. We managed to secure 215,000 doses from Bavarian Nordic in partnership with European Union under ERA.
Available data shows that a single dose of MVA-BN vaccine given before exposure has an estimated 76% effectiveness in protecting people against Mpox, with a 2-dose schedule achieving an estimated 82% efficacy.
It's vital to stress that although vaccines are a powerful tool, they're by no means the only tool.
Over 120 countries have confirmed more than 103,000 cases of Mpox since the onset of the global outbreak in 2022. In 2024 alone, there were over 25,000 suspected and confirmed cases and 723 deaths from different outbreaks in 14 countries of the African region. In Kenya, there have been 5 confirmed cases, with the countries of Taita Taveta, Busia, Nairobi, Mombasa, and Nakuru reporting 1 case each. 33 contacts are being followed up in the affected counties. 815,823 travelers have been screened in 26 points of entries. So far, the National Public Health Laboratory has received 150 samples. 5 have tested positive, 143 have tested negative, while 2 samples are pending testing. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, President William Ruto closed ranks with opposition leader Raila Odinga in Berlin to ink 2 important labor deals, which opened the way for unemployed but skilled young Kenyans to work for German companies. And as Samira Mohammed reports, the president has defended the jobs plan, saying the Kenyan government will firmly protect Kenyans employed in Germany. Take a look.
On Friday, Kenya and Germany signed a labor mobility partnership agreement, opening doors to 250,000 skilled and semi-skilled Kenyan workers in controlled and targeted labor migration deal.
Among the things that are important to us as a nation today is how do we create opportunities for the millions of young people who come out of college, who come out of school, who come out of our universities to get jobs.
And today, speaking during a meeting with Kenyans residing in Germany, the president highlighted Kenya's willingness to share its labor workforce, while stressing that Kenya's workforce will not be exploited.
And sometimes they are abused and they are mishandled. The agreement gives us now the opportunity to make sure that we can protect the rights of Kenyans working in Germany, making sure that they are paid in accordance with the law,
accompanied by other leaders, including ODM party leader Raila Odinga. President Ruto noted that Kenya's education system has produced renowned professionals who have made substantial contribution to the world's economic development.
And human capital, and I speak about it very proudly and very often, is the best resource we have. It is our gold, it's our oil, it is the asset that we have as a country.
Speaking during a roundtable consultation with Kenyan and German firms on labor mobility, President Ruto stated that its administration will ensure the process is seamless. Ruto further stated that unlicensed recruiting agents and agencies will not be allowed to operate in the new jobs program with the German government.
Today, I was meeting the recruiting agencies in the morning. They've been having very serious problems of accessing this market because we didn't have an agreement. Today, we are using the agreement to make it easy.
Samira Mohammed for TV47.
The government is developing a reward scheme for Kenyans who will champion the growth of trees in the country in an effort to reach the 15 billion trees goal by 2032, as espoused by President William Ruto. According to the Ministry of Environment, there is an application that tracks an individual's rate of planting trees, and soon they'll be rewarded. This comes as the Kenya Forest Service is calling on Kenyans to take advantage of the coming rains to plant trees. Speaking at a sensitization event held at Tatu City, Kiambu, KFS boss Peter Nganga said there is a clear need for Kenyans to embrace conservation efforts.
We call this day Plant Your Age Day. I want you to remember it's not about the Plant Your Age Day, not about the specific day that we are planting the trees. Every Kenyan, every person in the continent of Africa, because the event and the initiative has gone beyond our borders. Your birthday is your Plant Your Age Day.
So we shouldn't really complicate it. I know 15 billion sounds a big number, but if every Kenyan planted 30 trees a year, we would get to 15 billion. And 30 trees is such a small number.
The drive that has been brought by Green Africa, it is a very important drive because they are telling us to plant at least a number equivalent to our age. We shall have surpassed the target for each and every person per year because every person is supposed to plant that seedlings per year.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet hapo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako, chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia, pesa inavutia.
All right, now in the world of sports, FKF Cup champions Kenya Police FC earlier today succumbed to a 1-0 defeat to Egyptian powerhouses Zamalek SC in the first leg of the second round of the CAF Confederation Cup played at Nyayo Stadium. Now, the Egyptian side took the lead right before the half-time with a superb strike from midfielder Abdallah Mohamed following a well-executed free-kick routine straight out of the training ground. The law enforcers came back in the second half tactically rejuvenated but could not score the all-important goal, with the veteran debutant striker Jesse Were missing his shooting boots. Kenya Police will now head to Egypt, hoping to overpower Zamalek in the second leg, scheduled for next week, Friday.
Their best was not good enough today, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to do well when we go to Egypt. So we did play according to the game plan that we had prepared. We did create very, very good goal scoring opportunities, but yet again we were not able to fully exploit those chances.
No, of course not.
If we don't respect them today, we could lose the game. So, and if we don't respect for the next game, it's the same thing, because 1-0 means nothing.
KCB RFC Sevens coach Andrew Amonde has said the team is fully focused on tomorrow's assignment after ending the day with a 7-7 draw against Nondescripts at the Prince Louis Sevens in Nakuru. The Bankers will play in the Challenger Cup tomorrow after finishing third in their group. They won the first match 15-0 against Mwamba, who lost 2021 to Nakuru RFC before closing the day with a 7-7 draw against Ngong Roadside Nondes. Following the team's excellent run at the fifth leg of the series, KCB currently sits third in the overall circuit standings, garnering 86 points, 2 behind second-placed Kabras Sugar and 11 behind leaders Kenya Harlequin.
We are focusing to get the maximum points for the Challenger Cup. And then after this tournament, we go on to 15s, because this is the last tournament. It's been a circuit of valleys and hills, because we've had high moments and low moments. And since we didn't start off well because of the preparation and whatnot, I would say we really tried our best. Yeah, because we were up and down, but we picked ourselves up when we were down. And when we were high, we really went for it.
It's a very experienced team with very classic players. I don't know just what happened to them, but it's something that they need to learn very fast and get over it, because the way we want to play and the process that we are looking before us, so there are things that we need to be doing very right at the beginning. So I think we struggled from the first game when we got to this tournament. We didn't get our footing. I think because it's the end of the circuit, I know we are not going to finish first, but I'm sure we're going to finish third. So it's just to take the third place and congratulate the boys and see how we can now transfer what we've learned from sevens into 15s.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet hapo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X. Away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako, chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia, pesa inavutia.
All right, that's all we had in store for you in the world of news. Many thanks indeed for watching TV47 Weekend Edition. Don't go too far. We are taking a very short commercial break. But up next will be her say. Earlier this week, I had a sit down with the Registrar of Political Parties, that is Anne Deritu, the first woman ever to hold that office. Now, that brings us to the end of this bulletin. Don't go too far. That will be coming up next. My name is Odida. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Rode Nyamai. Have a good night and see you tomorrow.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Her Day, where we talk about and celebrate women first. And today we are privileged to host the registrar of political parties in Kenya, that is Ms. Anne Nderitu. It's such an honor to have you here on the show. Thank you so much for making time for us. Now, just beyond the political scene, who really is Anne Nderitu?
Anne Nderitu is a woman, that to start with, who have a belief system that whatever the situation, it can be done. And I'm a mother of 4. And I'm happy to work in public service for quite some time now. I think now going to 25 years since I graduated from college. And started working first as a teacher for 1 year, then as an inspector of schools, then as an administrator, specifically education administration, then decided to join the elections and governance, which I joined in 2010 at the Electoral Boundaries Commission. And then after that, in 2018, I moved to become the registrar of political parties. And it has been a journey. So in a nutshell, Anne is a career public servant.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You mentioned something quite interesting to me. You entered into the job scene just right immediately after college.
Yes.
Why is it not like that nowadays for our youngsters?
I think the situation has changed. Maybe there has also been growth in education in terms of there are so many graduates that are coming from our universities. And of course, there's population growth, and the opportunities are not growing. So it means that there's many youth that don't get jobs immediately after college. During our time, because I was a student of literature English, I graduated with literature and English. We were given posting letters when we had not graduated in school, meaning that we were on demand. And when I joined the teaching fraternity, I actually immediately after that, because there was a shortage of teachers of English and literature, we were given special allowance because of to retain us in the service. However, some of us were not able to be retained. We moved on to other processes because we felt that we were called as we are into leadership. And that's how then I started my career in the area of leadership and governance. Yeah.
10 years is quite a long time in the governance team. So how is it like big? How has it been like for you?
One, I think when you do something that you really are passionate about, then it's never so difficult. However, that does not say that it doesn't have challenges. The challenges are there, but because of the passion and specifically the feeling that you want to make a difference, and you actually are happy doing what you're doing, you are able to surmount the challenges. What I like about elections and governance is because it's not a monotonous job. It presents new challenges every day. What you did yesterday is not necessarily what you're going to do today, because you are dealing with a situation or a field that majority of the time, the people working in the field have different dynamics, and they keep either creating new problems or also presenting new challenges that you really have to look at your governance and your leadership, and you keep renovating yourself every other time. So the fact that it's not monotonous and it's keep shifting, it's what is enjoyable about the job. And then combined with the passion that I think I'm working where I think I should be. Yeah. Yes, I think the first thing, from where I come from, since I was young, I think I have never viewed leadership from a gender point of view. My view of leadership is that every leader presents qualities of leadership, whether you are man or woman, and it's upon you to prove that you are worth the salt of being called a leader, because you have given leadership and you have the qualities that make you a leader. My perspective of leadership is that every leader, regardless of gender or age, you need to prove that you are worthy to be trusted with leadership and responsibilities, and also how you carry yourself as you execute your responsibilities matters a lot. So when I start to speak or to do something, I think the last thing in my mind is that I am a woman. The first is that I'm a leader and I've been given a responsibility, and I must execute it according to the rules and according to the laws set, and also renovate myself every time to make my leadership relevant and up to date every time I'm dealing with the people who are in my sector. Yeah.
So what do you say that we are embracing the gender when it comes to leadership in the country at the moment?
Yeah, even as I have said that does not mean that we don't have unique problems, especially when you are a woman leader. It's actually people who keep reminding you that, look, you are a woman. You are a woman. So you kept the people you're working with, the people you interact with, especially when there's a challenge, they keep reminding you that you are a woman, and therefore they present challenges that because you are a woman, this and this you should not do. And that's where probably young women and people who are joining leadership, and young girls and women, have to really gear themselves towards how you really address those challenges and those issues that are presented to you, because people will tell you and remind you that you are a woman. However good you are performing, once in a while they make you look yourself in the eye and remind you that you are a woman. But it's upon you to whether you want to soak in the fact that you're a woman, and then you get intimidated, because according to them, women should actually be intimidated and cow down and look away and probably not confront issues because they are women. So that is one challenge that keep coming to women leaders. But I think for me is to first of all reconcile the fact that you are according to leadership, and you must demonstrate leadership, and you must know what needs to be ignored, and you must remind also the people you are dealing with. Leadership is not gender is not a qualification for leadership, and leadership means that you are offering services and you are guiding and processing issues as a leader. And if I have to be a woman, then being a woman then should give me an advantage of leadership, because I'll bring in what it takes to nurture, to make the situation better, because women are known to make situations that are going bad better. So if I have to the feminine aspect as is being presented, then it must be for making the leadership and the space better for everybody, and making sure that everybody then is taken care of. So it's not all negative or being told that you are a woman. It's okay, there's no problem, because you are a woman. But then if you are a woman, then there are some qualities of leadership that also go by being a woman, which can you actually exploit to make it working better for you as a woman. For example, it's well known that women leaders are careful. They make sound decisions because according to them they go through the decisions over and over again. By the time they are making the decisions, then the decisions are majority of the time watertight, and they are according to the law and all that. It's also known that women are less aggressive in terms of looking at matters. They would want to collaborate all issues together and also try and bring issues work for everybody, rather than working only for one person. So when you are told you are a woman leader, then that's okay, provided you are the women qualities, the issues of leadership and issues of administration that we are dealing with are really resonating well to make the space better for everyone. The question of that gender role, I think we have made significant progress in terms of advocacy and lobbying and trying to push the matter of that gender rule in our space. Comparing to where we are coming from, I think we are making progress, but baby step progress. And every baby step is also celebrated. For example, we are coming from a situation in the last probably 60 years of independence where there was no single woman who was elected as a member of parliament. Then coming to 1, then to 4, then to 6, then progressively up to 2017 when we had 23 elected women members of parliament. And then 2022, where we had 29 elected members of parliament. That's a growth. We look at the Senate, we started from 0 women being elected. Currently, we have 3 senators who have been elected through the ballot to the Senate. We look at the governors. We started from 0, then to 3, then to 7. And we hope as we progress, we are going to progress, not retrogress, so that we are celebrating every step. But I want to say we have a long way to go. I know the noise of the women movement is hard out there because we keep saying how the gaps, and the gaps are clearly there. To the extent that people confuse that we are so many elected or in leadership, because we actually articulate the issues and try to bring to fore that there are so many gaps that have been left unattended due to non-compliance of that gender rule. So we shall continue with the advocacy as part of the women movement in Kenya to advocate for more women into leadership, both in the public service and appointed positions, and then in elected positions. And it's a journey that you have to make, all of us. We are not done well, but we are making the progress and the baby steps. One of the issues is the that gender rule in the National Assembly. For example, why the task force and has been a member of a task force that finished its work a month or so ago on the that gender rule, especially in in line with Article 781 to try and see that the National Assembly and the Senate are compliant with the two-third gender rule. And we progressed and made bills that were presented to Parliament. And we hope the bills we take will get the light of day and get implemented so that we have a compliant National Assembly and Senate and at least for the county assembly they are compliant because of the gender top-up that happens at the county level. But for National Assembly and the Senate, is something that we really need to push so that we are compliant. And you remember, at one point even the Chief Justice had advised the President to dissolve Parliament on the basis of gender non-compliant. We hope we shall not go back there, because I know the current administration is very responsive to gender, and I know there was even a memorandum by the President given to Parliament, and one of the issues that he addressed himself to is the issue of gender compliant, and especially for the Parliament and the Senate, meaning there's a political goodwill, and we hope then as we go along, this will be realized. So I want to say we still have a long way to go. If you look even at demographics of public appointments, we have not yet made the two-third gender rule almost in everything. If you look even to public service of the leadership, maybe from job Q and above, where leadership position are, we still have not met even 30%. Meaning in every sphere of leadership, we are falling short from the 30%. So we shall continue with the advocacy and talk about it. In political parties, for example, we have 90 registered political parties, but only 8 political parties are women-led in terms of their party leader is a woman. You can imagine out of 90, only 8. That means 92 parties are men-led. Majority of the party officials are actually men. It's only that the law, and that is amendment after amendment, that with the amendment of the law, now it is a must that the party must meet the two-third gender rule in its government.
Is there anything that you say you introduced in the party that you say has significantly impacted your leadership?
One, the 10 of the years I worked in the Electoral Commission, and 9 in the 6 of the years I've worked in the Office of Registrar of Political Parties and as the registrar and also the CEO of the institution. When I worked at IBC, I was so passionate about electoral training and knowledge impartation on the electoral officials and staff of the institution, and connecting the institution with other institutions so that knowledge impartation continues in a better way. I'm in record having read the evolution of the training department by making manuals and guides and training manuals and videos and PowerPoints that were cascaded to over 600,000 staff during elections and all that, and made the training of the Electoral Commission be cascaded seamlessly downwards, ensuring that work happens. When I worked at the Commission also, I invented the voter education week, which happens after days. Yeah, every 1 year, every year there's 1 week that is dedicated for voter education by the Electoral Commission. Among other things, when I crossed over to the Office of Registrar of Political Parties in 2018, the first thing that I met, and I thought, even when I worked in the Electoral Commission, I could see it and I thought it needed to be fixed, is the membership register of political parties. Kenyans used to complain that I found myself in a register that in a party that probably, according to them, they did not register. And one of the issues was to make systems that will not allow that to happen, that a Kenyan can be registered in a party that they have not willingly joined. That called to make systems, which as we speak now, we have what we call integrated political parties management system. In this particular system, Kenyans have a right to register themselves into political parties and also to register themselves from political parties. So you can register yourself, and if you decide to resign, then you are able to resign. We have really created a platform that allows you to do that. And then you can continually check your status without coming to the office of registrar. At 2018, if you wanted to resign from a party, the only option available was for you to write a letter to the office of the registrar and then wait for the registrar's office to process, then they give you a letter to tell you you have resigned. But currently you just go to our shortcut, check your status. If you want to resign, then you choose where you want to, you just choose the option of resigning and you resign at your comfort of your phone. If you want to join a political party, then you using the same system, you're able to register using your phone. And when you are being registered, now you have to, if a party decides to register you, you must give consent, meaning that you had a conversation with the party. So because there's the option of self-registration, if then the party, because the party has the right to register you, and especially for those people who are not able to operate systems, then the party may decide to register you. What happens when they upload your name in our database, the integrated political parties management system? What happens is that the first thing is to seek for your consent. A message will be sent to your phone and seek your consent that you have given your name to be registered in a particular political party. That to me was a game changer because it came in when also the Data Protection Act was coming on board, but we did it before, not even realizing that the Data Protection Act will come over, because now it allows the Kenyan data to be protected so that you are the one operating your data. And if it has to be operated by another person, in this case the party or the office of registrar, then you have given your consent that it shall be used for the sole purpose of you being a member of that political party. I think that is important. The other important thing that we have brought on board is the manner in which we push for inclusion. As an institution, we are deliberate about pushing about inclusion of women, youth, and persons with disability. Not only through training, but practical help during elections. Currently, we are dealing with the trainings, especially for women candidates who are preparing to go to the next elections, to present themselves for the next election. We have a source book of training all leaders, and now have divided it into portions so that we have one to train women, another one to train persons with disability, and another one to train the youth and any marginalized groups, so that we cannot have a country where only a section of the society participates in elections. We have to be deliberate about inclusion of women, youth, persons with disability, and the marginalized and minority into the political process. And we do a lot of advocacy, both at national and at county levels through training programs and calling people together. So we are deliberate about that. The institution ahead also continued evolving into the county so that we're able to reach as many Kenyans as possible with information, and especially because political parties are very misunderstood by majority of Kenyans. Not many Kenyans know what a political party is supposed to do and the importance of a political party. So we deliberately want to educate Kenyans about political parties and their importance in a democracy like ours. And I want to tell you, if we mismanage the political pillar in a democratic country like ours, then all the other pillars can be affected. And part of it is actually also to manage political parties properly. And that's why we deliberately train political parties on governance and how to manage political parties. We keep training them on different areas and ensuring that we move from one level to another, that becomes stable as we go along.
Tell us about now the process of registering a political party. What does one need? How many members? How do you do it?
Number one, if in Kenya you want to register a political party, you start by looking for the name. Convince yourself you want to register a political party, then the first thing is to sit down and get a name of what will be the name of a political party. Then you present to the office of registrar through a system, and that's another thing we have done. We have done digital platform and digital reforms to allow people to push some of the issues to the system, and we are able to see on our end. So you approved about 5 names in our systems, and the system will go through and see whether that name is similar to any other, or whether it is actually even combination. And then if it's not, then through a committee that sits in our office, the name will be awarded. And we shall look at law, whether it is offensive, whether it is owned by it's closely resembles another party, among other things. Once you are given the name, then you go to the symbol also. The symbol will go through a similar process, and the slogan. Those ones can go together. Once you have the name, you can bring the symbol and the slogans together. Then we process that. After that, you are expected to form the party basically by sitting down, just 3 people, 3 Kenyans. They can be 10, they can be 20, but at least the least that can sit and present minutes of forming a party. You say you sat down and you have minutes now to show that you actually willing to form a party. Then you present the minutes the registrar, and then we process and see the minutes have met the requirement. You are clear on what you want to go, what you want to do. Then we ask you to bring the party constitution and the party constitution and the nomination and elections rules. We go through them and we ascertain that they are okay. And the vetting is done on you. Then we present to you with a provisional certificate. It's after the provisional certificate that you're allowed to go and recruit members. There should be 1,000 members in 24 counties. That makes 24,000 members who should be registered voters. Then you can have as many more members as you can, but that basically, that's the basic. Then you open offices, and we are able to inspect your offices and create a governing body that is inclusive and meet the requirement. And after that, then we give you the registration, and then therefore you have registered a political party.
So is there a particular point where you turn down a political party and expelled it or even suspended it?
Yeah, many times. You see, compliance with political parties that is a continuous process. Many times even right now, we suspend parties for non-compliant. Even right now, there's parties that are on suspension until they fulfill the law, especially when they are not compliant. So we keep looking at compliance matters and suspend when they fulfill the requirement, then they are brought back. So others are given warning, others are given notices, and all that, because compliance is a continuous process, and we keep enforcing compliance when it comes to political parties. Yeah.
So what are you looking for? What legacy are you looking for to leave behind the registrar of political parties?
Number one, I think, first of all, is Our leadership, and specifically my leadership, is based towards values and rights. Number one, I want to leave a legacy in the office of registrar that Kenyans have rights, and those rights should be realized through political parties, and that political parties should be instruments of governance where rights of individuals and especially political rights under that point are realized. At the office of registrar, we believe in giving Kenyan service without reservation. And that's why I'm talking about values, that a leader must have values. And those values should be geared towards enhancing service delivery. So that when a person comes to register a political party, we don't expect any of our staff to block that Kenyan, except by law. Not because you want bribe or you want something else, you just want to do what is required. Part of what we do is to transform cultural beliefs, especially for our staff and stakeholders, that can be done. And service can be given using the values that are written down. I want to leave a legacy of fairness, that every process, in the political process, people are given their rightful share. And there's fairness in the administration of not only political parties, but every other aspect, that governance can be done through fairness and rights are given because that is what is required. I also want to leave the infrastructure intact so that the infrastructure, both the legal infrastructure and the operational infrastructure, are good to support our governance and our political parties, so that political parties are viewed as entities and institutions of governance that are supposed to bring out leadership and leaders, whether to be elected in the National Assembly and the Senate. There's a fair process, institutionalization of political parties where processes happen. And you can attest that there's been a lot of revolution when it comes to institutionalization of political parties. Part of it being clearly with the change of law, that internal democracy of political parties are greatly improved. That when a person is agreed, before you go to vote, you have to go through your party processes. And that is what has been happening as we look at the issues around. So I want to leave one thing, institutionalization of political parties, and also how Kenyans view political.
Anything for our young women leaders who are looking at you and aspire to take on this by storm? Anything for them?
Now, for the young leaders and young women especially, it's also just about passion and getting interested. To me, you have to show interest and demonstrate that you want to be in that space. You have to approach mentors, you have to really package yourself in, and identify the area that you want to be in. And then also look for mentors and people in that particular area. And it's hard work also, that it's never given. Nobody will pick you from the village and bring you up. You have to come out first. And then people see that you're interested and they mentor you. And then you move towards that mentorship. Number two, to the young leaders, it's always important to know that the older people have been there, seen that and done that. Yeah, so when you as you bring your new ideas, because truly young people have different and new ideas, you also must blend them with the old wisdom of what has been there, tried and tested, and therefore you combine that. You have combined the new ideas, and then you also work in there. Don't rubber the old leaders, the older leaders and the old ideas that have been there. It must be upgraded. Bring your new ideas and become innovative on your own way and package yourself. In terms of respect, I think respect is earned. How you present yourself and how you really means and your opinion and your words also matters a lot, because it matters whether people will view you from a respectable point of view, and they are the old parameters of how a leader should behave and present himself. However innovative you be, you cannot be disrespectful to others and then expect this respect from your end. So the first thing is also to package yourself as a respectable leader, as you respect also others, and then you shall earn your respect. But that does not negate you must come with your own shoes. Don't be boxed into thinking how other people think. You are bringing your fresh ideas, your fresh self, and into the leadership space. Many times, even me when I was younger, now I'm older, I used to be told, you will not fit in so and so shoes. By one thing I remember, and I want to tell young people, come with your shoes. I used to tell them, I will come with my shoes. Because you have your own style, you have own leadership, you have the way you view the world, and that is the freshness and the new ideas you can bring into the space. Otherwise, you keep renovating yourself as an individual, but obeying the parameters that requires leaders to be